Hello guys, and welcome back to the series, and welcome to Football Manager 2023, our epic quest across Europe to win every top flight nation in Europe. Now last time you were with us, we picked up the championship with Sibenik in Croatia. Now I've been on a little bit of a journey since then. The next nation on the list, of course, is Denmark, and we've had quite a bit of trouble getting a job at Denmark, which we'll go through, and then we'll go through where I'm at. So the first thing that happened was this. About 3-4 months after I'd left Sibenik, my contract expired at Sibenik, so I didn't resign. This happened. Hostrup was sacked by Midtjylland, and I got excited, and I got kits ready, stuff like that. I set the file up for the recording to go into, and I applied for the job, as you can see here. So I went through the interview process at Midtjylland. All went well. They came back to me and they requested backroom staff changes as if I was about to get the job, and I was really excited. Midtjylland, of course, second best team in Denmark. That would have been great to get straight in there. But then this happened. FC Midtjylland interview was unsuccessful. They were about to give me the job, and then right at the last minute they said no. For whatever reason, I don't know. They said they were satisfied with my plans, ultimately decided that I wasn't the right person to take the club forward. So after Midtjylland, the Nordsjælland job became available. So again, I applied for that, had the interviews. Another one, unsuccessful. Again, the board felt that I satisfied their plans, but I wasn't the right person to take the club forward again, apparently. And I was starting to get a little bit worried now with what was happening. And again, another top flight side in Denmark, AAB. Again, we applied for that. Unsuccessful. Despite opting against shortlisting you due to the strength of other candidates, the board would like to place on record that they feel you would have been an excellent fit for the club, for the club's somewhat scaled back vision for the future. This is mainly as a result of your deep commitment towards signing first team players no older than 23. Now, obviously, at this point, we've got quite a reputation. We've won the top flight division in, I think, 16 nations now across Europe. We are quite some manager, but we for whatever reason, whether Denmark's broken in this save, we've struggled. So we thought maybe it's top flight, maybe Denmark's quite high up, although we have managed in nations that are higher up in the European coefficients, like Turkey, for example. I thought maybe I'll step down a division, and AC Horsens, who were in the Nordic Bet Liga in Denmark, which is the second tier, we applied for them when their manager job became available. So we had the interview, and it happened again. The board was satisfied with the plans you put forward, but ultimately decided you weren't the right person to take the club forward for whatever reason. So we tried again with another second tier side in Slagelse. I think they were second tier at the side at the time. I could be totally wrong. You'll find out in a minute. This has actually happened quite some time ago in terms of real life. But again, we were unsuccessful in that one. So we thought, I don't know what's going on. I thought I'd try, just out of the blue, Fremad Amager, who they're a fourth tier side in Denmark. Fourth tier, amateur club, not even semi-pro, amateur. We had the interview, we were set to take over. And then this happened. They were satisfied with our plans again, weren't the right person to take the club forward. An amateur side, by the way. Bearing in mind, we have won 15, 16 top flight divisions in Europe. We've won the Euros with Northern Ireland as well. We're one of the best managers in the world in terms of attributes and achievements. But a fourth tier side, amateur side, did not give us the job. And it happened again with Frem, another fourth tier amateur side, did not give us the job. I don't know what's going on with Denmark. I hope that the next nation is not the same. So I tried again. Fourth tier side again. Vegard. I think it's pronounced Vegard. They offered me the interview. They then approached me. Finally, a club in Denmark approached me. And I took charge of Vegard, an amateur club in the fourth tier of Denmark. And I took charge on the 18th of January. And where we were in the league is here. Is here. They are rock bottom. They are 8 points behind the next best team. And this is where we took charge. And this is where I decided to play some football off camera for a little while. I didn't want this nation to be dragged out over the course of 5-6 seasons. That's not really what I want for the series. So I've decided to do some off camera. So we made it to the end of the first season here at Vegard. 32 games in a season. The league does split in Denmark into a relegation and a promotion stage. It splits after 22 games, 32 in total. And we staved off relegation. Somehow, miraculously, I managed to score 31 points in the remaining fixtures. And we finished third in the relegation group, which is technically fourth bottom of the fourth tier. And unbelievably, I'd saved Vegard from relegation to non-league, basically. At which point I would have been sacked anyway. In terms of who got promoted, FA 2000 and Hillerud got themselves promoted into the third tier. In terms of how the preliminary phase actually finished, after 22 games, I was on 19 points. So in the next 10 games, I managed to score another 19 points, which is, 2 points a game, which is pretty good. And you can see that there, Brunshaw, who were in 8th place going into the relegation playoff, actually managed to get themselves relegated. I think they finished second bottom, actually. So, we've pulled off pretty much a miracle there. So we went into season 2 as the manager of Vegard. And we had a fantastic season. A really, really good season. We won the league. We got promoted. We won it on goal difference. We won it on goal difference. Dalum pushed us all the way. We were well clear in the preliminary phase of the league, but we started slipping up a little bit, and Dalum did close in on us. Bear in mind that at this point of the game, we are still an amateur club, a 1,200 capacity stadium. We have signed some pretty decent players, though. Mark Westergaard is a very good player for the fourth tier of Danish football. We don't pay any wages. There's no appearance fees, anything like that, because we're an amateur club. He's considered a good player for most Nordic Bet Liga sides, which is the second tier. So we've got second tier players, or considered second tier players, playing in our fourth tier side. And he got 17 goals in 22 games in the league, which is really good. And like I say, we went up as champions, which was absolutely fantastic. Promotion to the third tier. And into the third tier, the board decided to make us semi-pro. We also moved into another stadium, a rented stadium from the council, I believe. Yes, we're paying 13.6k a year because the board decided to build their own stadium. The previous stadium that we played at, the 1,300 capacity one, was, of course, a council-owned stadium as well. And somehow the board got the money to build a new stadium. So we're due to move into the Vegard Stadium, 4,350 capacity, on the 26th of June 2064. I don't know where the money came from. We've got no training facilities whatsoever. We've signed some more good players at semi-pro now as well. We're giving players contracts. Razio Parolini is a young Frenchman. I've been doing my old search Belgium again tricks. He came from Stokke Vafusi, Belgium amateur side. A very good player, and he got 15 in 21 for us, which is really good. He's another one who's considered to be an actual Superliga player, so top tier in Denmark. And as a result, we won this one at Canter in the third tier, beating SFB Ure FA by 21 points in the end, 77 points. We lost 5 across the stage of the season, though, so we didn't have it all our own way, but we were 10 points ahead by the end of the preliminary phase, having only lost 4, so we lost 1 in the championship playoff. Dalum, again, who got promoted with us last season, did really well. They got into the promotion stage. FA 2000, who obviously got promoted in our first season here, were relegated again. Hillerud, though, got into the promotion stage. Fortunately, did finish bottom of that. Dalum came third, though, so Dalum were a point away. If they'd won this last game of the season, they'd have been coming up to the second tier, with us. Dalum themselves are now semi-pro as well. I don't know whether it's a rule in Denmark where you have to be semi-pro, pro, depending on division you're in and whatever. But Vegard themselves, decent rise. You can see here the rise that we've had. They have won. No, they haven't. They've according to this, they've never been high. Well, they've never won the third or the 3 division or the 2 division, which is 4th and 3rd tier before. Now, I did actually look them up on Wikipedia, and they have been as high as the 2nd division before, which is the 3rd tier. They were there in real life quite recently, and then they've actually gone back down to the Denmark series in real life. So they are very much an amateur club. The kits look fantastic, by the way. I love them. So at the end of, I believe this is season 3, back-to-back titles, moving up into the 2nd tier now of Danish football, the Nordic Bet Liga. A little bit of money in the bank. Wage budget-wise, we're slightly underneath it. One of the struggles that I've had here is managing finances. We're constantly over the wage budget, and as a result, it's actually affecting me as a manager. But attribute-wise, we're looking absolutely outstanding as a manager. 76 years old now as well, by the way. Sibenik, quick look up on how they did. They're in the Croatian second league. I don't know how. After we won it there, Dinamo did go back to winning ways. But Sibenik finished second just a couple of years later. And they've somehow ended up getting relegated. I don't know how that's happened. So, we had a decent squad there. We have got them, the squad that we've left over has got them into second place again, but now they're in the second league. They've got loads of money in the bank, though, but somehow they're in the second. They've been relegated. And they've got, the players that we said we were going to bring with us. Obviously, that's not going to happen in an amateur club. But Delcor, developing into a great player. The one who I was particularly impressed with was Uranga. Obviously, we signed him. I don't think he's even in the first team. But there's Gilles Deleu, very good striker. Maybe not performed quite as he could have done. A lot of these players have actually played for the second team as opposed to Sibenik's first team. Like Agustin Romero, all of these appearances for Sibenik were when we were there. But again, another great player. I think the only one who I've actually brought in out of these youngsters who's making regular first team appearances is Delcor. For whatever reason. He's now 67 appearances at 22 years old. But anyway, I digress. Promotion to the second tier. And the second tier went very well. We added a few new names to the squad. Not massively, because we're still, under-financed. There is some money coming in now, though. There's good competition prize money for the second tier in Denmark. But against all the odds, we walked it. Absolutely walked it. Preliminary phase, 9 points clear in that. Promotion phase, 9 points clear. We finished of HB Koj, who actually overtook Randers on the last day of the season to get themselves promoted. It was against the odds because this is our odds. We were predicted to finish 10th, and we've somehow won the league and got promoted to the top flight. I don't know how it's happened, especially when you look at stats that's team detailed. Net transfer spend. We've actually spent a little bit of money, but this is all on like signing on fees and stuff like that. In terms of salary, second lowest in the league. Only Ure FA below us. We've got insecure finances according to this. That's something else I've noticed as well. In Denmark, despite having money in the bank, the board keep telling me that we're skint. We've got 1.6 million in the bank. They've given me a transfer budget to go into, but I get 0% of finances from players I sell. My wage budget's just gone up. This is getting ready to go into the top flight. It was 7.5 grand, something like that. But with prize money, 363,000, we've made good money in the second tier. With the performance that we've had, but my board keep telling me that we're skint. I can't even send players on coaches on coaching courses because the board say we've got no money. So whether my save is broken this far into the future or whether it's just Denmark that's broken, that's something that we'll find out when we go to the next nation. But yeah, we won the league. I couldn't believe it. Won the league. Like I said, we brought in some good players. We brought in Eric Nielsen on loan from Sweden. Esteban Lambrex, who is now unfortunately leaving, is another one of my Belgian amateur players. We do seem to like them in this save. Aymar Saka is another Belgian, good central defender, considered to be Nordic Bet Liga player, a good Nordic Bet Liga player. There's a few players leaving. There's still a lot of amateurs at the club as well. But we got promoted. We got promoted again with, decent money in the bank. So three straight league titles. 3 straight league titles for us. So my Denmark, basically, it's turned into a little bit of a grassroots to giants sort of series as well, which obviously I didn't want to show that on camera. Going into the top flight is going to be my 5th season in Denmark. We've played 122 games for Vegard, which is more than we've played for any club in this save, which I think is one of the problems that I've been having. It did come up a lot in my interviews early on. But still, at this stage of Denmark, despite back-to-back promotions, none of the big boys, none of the top-tier sides are willing to even talk to me, not even give me an interview. I don't know why, especially when you look at how good we are. We are, without a doubt, one of the best managers the world has ever seen. But I don't know what's happening. Sibenik did get themselves promoted again, by the way, which we'll see in a minute. Obviously, I'm further ahead than what you're seeing at the minute. I'm at the start of next season, and Sibenik are back in the top flight in Croatia. But despite being this good of a manager, I don't know if it's something to do with my adaptability, because it sets the individual's chances of finding employment in a foreign league. But the fact we've been to 16 different nations, I thought my adaptability would be quite high, to be honest. But we'll see. So back to back promotions in Denmark, and that brings us to where we are today. Now this is pre-season, basically, in the top tier in Denmark. We are now professional. I believe we're upgrading the training facilities as well. We're still a year away from moving into our own stadium. In fact, are we upgrading the stadium? The training facility? Yes, we are. We're upgrading the training facilities. But as a result of the board building the new stadium and whatnot, we do have some debt. We've got 2.1 million in debt, which obviously we're paying off. Financially, though, we're still £1 million in the bank. I've still got some transfer budget left here. I'm over the wage budget, obviously. Obviously, I'm over the wage budget. And that has really started to affect my managing finances, down to 25% now. So hopefully we can improve upon that as our time here at Vegard continues and the board loosen the purse strings a little bit. But as for how we stack up in terms of top flight, big names in here, of course. Midtjylland, without a doubt, not Midtjylland, Copenhagen, without a doubt, the best team in Denmark, have been for a number of years. There's also, in real life, it's either Copenhagen or Midtjylland who win the league. You get the occasional one in here who pop up in Brøndby, AGF, but it's mostly been Copenhagen and Midtjylland, which is why I was so excited when Midtjylland job became available at the start. And I got all the kits ready for all the top flight teams and stuff like that. And then the disaster that you've seen happen. But how we stack up in terms of our season preview here in the top flight is to finish rock bottom at 601 to 1. Now I have made some signings since. Copenhagen are obviously the favourites, but we are miles away from anywhere else, and as a result the board only expects us to avoid relegation. And that brings us on to present day. This is where I'm at. It's the first day of the season, and look who we've been drawn against for the first game. Tiny little Vegard against FC Copenhagen, first game of the season. And we've had a shocking pre-season as well. We've not won a single one of our friendlies. We're still, in terms of season preview, we're still at 601. I've made quite a few signings. I'm at the point now where I can't make any more signings because I can't afford to pay their wages, because I'm already over my wage budget. I've got no transfer budget left. I'm committed to spending 32.8k. My wage budget is 27.7. 1.1 million in the bank. No transfer budget left. We have sold a lot of season tickets though, which is good. So we've made some money there. Hopefully the financial benefits of being in the top flight are still pretty handy, like they were in the second tier. But what we've done to this club is to build them into this professional club. We have been able to sign some players as well. We've spent some money on some players for this, what starts off as an amateur side. And we're coming up into our first ever game in the Danish top flight. So we're going to get into that today, guys. That's going to be the game in today's episode. Let's go and watch us get stuffed by FC Copenhagen. We'll have a run through the squad as well while we're here. We'll introduce you to the players. I'm still getting used to them myself. There's obviously when you go up the leagues as fast as we have, you get a lot of new faces coming in. There's one that I've missed out on, just popping up in my news feed there. Polish centre half. When you go up the leagues as fast as we have, there's a lot of new players coming in, particularly when you're an amateur club as well, because you can go out and sign anybody you want. We've still got amateur players as well in the squad because I can't afford to give them a contract, and quite frankly, I don't really want to. So, squad-wise, let's have a look at it. Goalkeeper is Petter Skogen. Now, he's a new signing to me this season. He is a Norwegian 23-year-old goalkeeper who is extremely eccentric. We signed him on a free transfer, previously of Lyn in Norway, so hasn't played a game for us yet. Last season's goalkeeper, and for a couple of seasons, has been Peter Skeljerup, a 34-year-old Dane whose contract does expire in December. He's done okay for us, conceded 79 in 72, which is not great. He does make some mistakes, but he has got us up a couple of divisions. He's, like you say, he's been here for a couple of seasons now, but he's considered a fourth-tier player by my assistant. Right back is Kjeldsen. Now, this is a little bit of a weak area in the squad. He is another one who is on a semi-pro contract. He's considered a fourth-tier player. I can't find anybody to replace him who I can afford. So right back, we're a little bit weak. But again, he's been here for a couple of seasons. Now, two centre-halves are both new players. We've got Mads Wiebel, who we've signed on a free transfer from Lyngby. I'm very worried about his 20 aggression, considering we play with tackle harder on in the tactics. But he's a decent player, and he's considered to be a decent player for most Superliga sides, which is good. We've got our first Superliga player in there. He also enjoys big matches and is consistent, so I'm hoping that he can do okay for us this season. Alongside him is going to be Sabe. He's another one of my Belgian amateur players. He's a new signing, just joined the club, obviously on a free transfer. Decent centre half. Quite pleased with him. Considering he cost us nothing. Decent player for most Superliga sides again. Lacks consistency, maybe a little bit slow as well, and his heading's not great. But for what we can afford, quite happy with that. We can even move him on if we need to, up to £2.5 million. And we do have some centre halves who've got us up the last couple of divisions in Mate Basiu, who's another Belgian, maybe not quite at this level. And we've also got a player called Saka. You've seen Saka already. He's suspended. Again, considered to be a decent player for most Superliga sides. Really does not like big matches, though. 24-year-old from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Could be a decent backup for us. Now, all the players you probably noticed are important players for us because they all want to be important players for us. Left back is my only loan signing of the season, and it is Ulrich Højberg. He's in on loan from Lyngby. Best left back I could get. We are paying 1.8k of his wages as well. But again, considered a decent player for most Superliga sides. So right back lets us down a little bit. Midfield really lets us down. Godesar was brought in last season. Another young Belgian, considered to be a third-tier player. Another one who's on a semi-pro contract. Defensive midfielder on defend. Big area, it needs improving. Hansen is a new signing. Jakob Hansen. Free transfer from FC Roskilde. Not up to scratch, second tier player, but it does enjoy big matches, which is good. Best I could get in. 2k a week as well. Now, Jiang Weishang, He is still on an amateur contract. He's been here for quite some time now, 87 appearances for the club. I think he actually brought him in when we were a fourth-tier side still. And he's considered to be a fourth-tier player. Again, another area that needs some big improvement. And up top, I've got 3 players. 2 of them are new to me. There's another new one as well who is actually recovering from an injury in Stefan Dekisar, another one of my Belgians. Second-tier player, according to this. Got some value to him, though. I think he's got some good attributes for an advanced forward. 18 technique, his pace really lets him down, though we are training that, but I think he's a decent player. And I think he'll get some goals for us. So he's a new player, unfortunately injured. Brewers is another new one. Again, second tier. 2.2k a week, got some crazy value to him for his age. 18-year-old Belgian, can gain eligibility for Denmark, because there are rules in Denmark around squad registration to do with homegrown players. So he can become homegrown. Brewers, I think, could be a good player. Again, fairly decent as an advanced forward. Finishing maybe lets him down a little bit, but I still think you get goals for us. Now, Redan was here last season. He is a Surinamese player. Another one who's not considered of this level, second-tier player. But again, as an advanced forward, he does have some good attributes. But again, pace lets him down, and he's 31 years old now. But he was in a free transfer. I think he's actually still on a semi-pro contract, or he could be on a pro one now. I might have signed him to a pro one with that amount of money. So there's Redan. He will obviously drop down to the bench once Dekisar is fully fit. And then Melander Post is my record signing for Vegard. £450,000. I think it was 200 up front. Oh, I've paid all of it, apparently. I thought it was 200 up front and then 250 across payments. So we've signed him from Ebjerg. He's actually considered to be a Superliga player. And again, he's quite decent as an advanced forward. So I'm expecting the majority of the goals to come from Michael Melander Post. So that's the first lineup of the game, the season, guys. And your first lineup that you're seeing here in Denmark. It's my 5th season here. Let's hope we can avoid relegation this season and build on that for next season. And as the teams come out to their Vegard's first ever top flight match, the first ever game as a professional club, it couldn't be much of a harder one against FC Copenhagen. We just need to pick up points where we can this season. Like I say, hopefully stave off relegation. That's the aim for this season. We can't really expect too much more than that, to be honest, from Vegard. Let's get some money in through the door, improve the squad as we go on. It is Copenhagen. Dos Rios with the early corner. They have hit the crossbar, though, but we've made it 20 minutes without conceding to the best team in the country. They're quite a force in Europe as well at Copenhagen, in the Europa League and Conference League. They're a pretty decent side. And they're coming forward again. Kjeldsen's got himself sent off. In our debut in the top flight, in Kjeldsen, who I said wasn't up to this level, has already been sent off, which is good. So we're going to have to bring another right back on. So we'll bring Redan off. I don't actually have my other potential right back on the bench. So Mads Sobyi is going to have to come on as the right back. Now, he is one who I've been playing as a Segundo Volante. You can clearly see that he's not even a 4th tier player. He's a non-league player, so he's definitely not up to scratch. But needs must. We have made it 35 minutes, though, without conceding against Copenhagen. Obviously, we've made that more difficult now with the player being sent off, and they do have another corner, which, they've missed. They can keep doing that for me all game. That would be great. But they are starting to pile the pressure on now before half-time. And it's Bangsho finds Ruiz driving forward. He gets his effort off. It's a wayward effort, though, and Skogen holds on to the ball. I'm not expecting too many chances for Vegard in this game. We're just going to be under the hammer all the time. If we can get a 0-0 out of this, it would be great. As Copenhagen look again to build, it's Dupont to Gendris and Dos Reis. Back to Dupont. Gendris again. Dos Reis bring the ball forward. He's got Gendris outside of him. Ball forward down the line towards Dos Reis. Good cross, and they've missed again. How have they missed that? I think he was offside anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But how has he not scored that? And somehow, guys, we're in at half-time, 0-0 against FC Copenhagen. I'm going to tell them I'm happy with that, because I am. I am happy with that. You know, we're not going to set this division on fire in our first season. It's going to be really, really tough. As again, they come forward and they have scored now. It's Umbuolo Ungubani. We'll go Ungubani. He scored right after half time, which is unfortunate. It's a good header from the edge of the area. The goalkeeper caught underneath it a little bit. Really, probably should have done a little bit better. But you know, we're doing the best we can here. We're not going to score against Copenhagen. Sabi heads that here. Godesar heads it further on. Ruiz, ball into the box. It's another effort on goal. This one's thankfully gone over. But we've actually seen a Vegard player touch the ball, guys, in a highlight, which is the first time so far. Højbjerg clears that. Rivera picks it up, finds Ruiz. Drives down the line. He's well closed down. Comes back to Rivera. Into Garcia Cruz. Ungubane. Back to Rivera. Copenhagen looking to build something here. They switch the ball out to Gendris and Dos Reis. Down this left-hand side. Gendris again. Feeding the ball forward to Garcia Cruz. Inside the area now. Pulls it back for Dos Reis. And it's a tame finish by Carlos Dos Reis. Skogan really could have done much, much better than that with that one. And we find ourselves 2-0 down on the hour mark. Again, Copenhagen coming forward, but we have actually managed to pinch the ball. And Godseer finds Wiebel. Jiang Weisheng coming forward. He switches it out to the right towards Sobi. Jiang Weisheng again. We're going to get Melander posts in. Oh my God, we've scored! What? Oh no, we've got VAR in the top flight. We didn't have VAR in the second tier. Oh no! No, that would have been great if we'd scored that. It was a good finish. It was a really good finish. Oh no, you can't. Come on, give us that one. Give us that one. It was a good finish though, not to be, unfortunately. As into the final 20 minutes, it's Copenhagen looking to build again. Rivera switches the ball out towards Ruiz. Finds Yapi Yapo. What a name, Yapi Yapo. Love that one. Ruiz. Jiang Weisheng cuts it out well, but Melander Post has lost the ball. Garcia Cruz finds Ruiz again. Yapi Yapo, I love that name. Kokasa into the area, checks back, feeds it back across. We've cleared it off the line. It was Sobye playing out of position, the non-league standard player who gets back and clears that off. But Kokasa with the free kick, it's clipped the top of the crossbar and gone over. Just 15 minutes left to hold on. We're not being humiliated, which is good. We've only had 37% of the ball, but scoreline is not humiliating on our first game here against the best team in the country. Gives me hope for the season going forward that we can pick up some points against, fellow strugglers. So 2-0, unfortunately, guys. That one disallowed chance, we've not hit the target. We've not had a shot on target. We've seen 36% of the ball. But I'm fine with that. We weren't humiliated. I've just annoyed all the players as well. So, welcome to Denmark, guys. Welcome to you lot. My 5th season here. Apologies if this video is a little bit longer, but I felt I had to tell you the story of Vegard and my story of not being able to get a job in Denmark. Hopefully Denmark's not broken. Or hopefully it's just Denmark that's broken even, and my save's not broken, because that'll be torture if I have to do this in every nation going forward. But guys, thank you very much for watching. Like I say, apologies if it's a little bit longer than usual. I'll try and edit it down as best as I can to keep the length down. But guys, thank you very much. Please remember to hit that thumbs up button for me and the subscribe button for the effort that I'm putting into this save alone with what's happening in Denmark. And I'll see you all a third of the way through the season, where hopefully we've got some points on the board. So cheers, guys. See you later.